Fire escape engineers, inspector summary review. We're here in Framingham, Massachusetts. We got an all-welded fire escape that we have to satisfy the code. The code requires that all fire escapes be structurally load tested or other satisfactory evidence of strength in lieu of a load test. So that's what we're working with here. We've got an all-welded fire escape, and anything that's a welded connection, there's only two ways for me to verify this, is either through a load test or through an x-ray. Otherwise, in order for me to verify that the connection, to avoid the load test or the x-ray, if I put in a gusset and I put in a bolt on this, and including all these treads that I'm about to show you, then I can avoid the load test. So let's talk about what's going on. We got a full welded construction fire escape, legs to the ground. So this building is acting like a leg, and there's a leg to the ground, which we're going to talk about. And right now we've got, if you look over here, you can see that this is an area of concern, in that as it accumulates, it starts rotting. So this is how it's resting on the building. A lot of times we'd like this to be resting on pressure-treated wood. Otherwise, if it's not, it does cause some problems. It does collect and accumulate debris. It's not tied back to the building, so that will help stiffen up some of this. But every one of these joints, all the major structural connections need to be rebolted. So instead of having to load test or verify this with an x-ray, as soon as I put in a quick guts and a couple of bolts, I'm good. Improper bolting to a piece of grating for a corner post. So things like that. All these welds, a lot of people don't realize, but this one's a good indicator of what happens. The water gets in here and starts rusting these from the inside out, and this one's showing evidence of rust. If you come in here and look closely, you can see all the rust coming in from the inside out, and all the rust in that coming from the inside out. On the treads especially, you're going to see that. So every one of these connections, welded connections, as soon as you rebolt them and reinforce them with a bolt, there's no need for a load test or an x-ray. So now let's go down the stairs. If you want to step down the stairs, I'll so this is called the major support. So these major supports need to be rebolted. These minors, they just need to be verified. So you don't need to rebolt every one of these, because this is called minor structural. Major structural needs rebolting. Major structural. So any major structural point, these are considered minor. Now, the stringers come up here, and this is welded right here. It still looks like a great weld, but I can't verify whether or not they're rotting from the inside out. So instead of x-ray or load testing this, as soon as I put in a simple angle clip here and a simple angle clip here with bolts, I eliminate the need for a load test, or I need an x-ray. So this needs to be rebolted. Anything that's a welded connection needs to be backed up with a bolt, and it eliminates the need for a load test or an x-ray. This grating is sitting on a piece of flat or a piece of angle, and look at all that accumulation of rust in there. And from underneath, can you see all that rust? You're probably going to shoot from underneath here, from underneath the tread. Can you go down and just zoom in on all that clip there? You see how it's starting to rust up there? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so all that needs to be cleaned out and then rebolted, not re-welded. This fire escape is probably less than 25 years old. So let's talk about the lead potential. Because it's a young fire escape, it probably doesn't have any lead on it. It's all new style grading, new style treads. So I'm assuming this fire escape is less than 25 years old, all welded. But now let's talk about, again, this platform needs to be all reinforced and rebolted, including the frame. This C-channel frame all around needs to have gussets on the inside because it's welded, a welded box. It needs to have angle clips inside to avoid having to verify through load testing or through x-ray every welded connection. Got it? Let's go underneath now and start showing some shots from underneath. Can you show the shot of this tread from underneath and this tread from underneath? Is it all the rusty tiers?
All rusty tiers.
So if you can show from above just the connection and how the water got in there. There's already 1/8 to 3/16 expansion on the top here. So every one of these treads now needs to be cut, so that we can get all this rust out, and then it must be rebolted. We're not going to weld these back. Show all these rusty tears over here. All those rusty tears is an indicator that rust is in here now and working every day. Even if we seal that rust in its position, it's going to continue growing. So now every one of these treads has to be cut out, remove the rust, prime the area, and when we put it back bolted. Now the correct way to put this back, before you cut out these treads, drill a hole, drill your holes first, so that every tread goes back exactly into its position. All right, so whoever does the repair, make sure they drill it first, tear it apart, clean it, prime it, seal it, put it back with the bolts. So go down and show all the underneath rust. So go slowly down. Okay. And if you can go down to the support down there. Got it? Okay, let's continue down to the bottom. Every one of these major supports on the rail system, these are major structural. This is major structural. This needs a clip. This needs a clip here, a bolt clip here. But these are minor, so I don't need any bolts through these, because these welds, I just need to verify that they're in good condition. Whenever possible, we should seal all these welds. If you can come here, I'm going to show you what happens on some of these welds when they're exposed to weather. You see, that was a bad weld to begin with. Do you see all the rust getting in there?
Yes.
See, this is a better weld, but look at this weld. Look at all the rust inside eating that apart. So the only way to verify that is through load testing or x-ray. But as soon as I pop a bolt through this, I don't need to verify that anymore. But I do need to seal it up because water's still getting in there, okay? The grading construction is an all welded grading construction, but every single one of these treads has got rust in it. See it? On both sides. So every single one of these treads has got to come out and then go back rebolted. You can't go back rewelding. If they're going to go back rewelding, they need to get a certified welder to do it, and they need to get a fire permit. Okay. This fire escape is pulling away from the building. Look at this. So we have a life safety issue here, in that for some reason the bolt was never attached. The lag bolt that's there has weeped, and basically this is what occurs when you have this is what occurs when you have water that seeps into a lag screw, softens the wood. These bolts fall out. So this bolt already fell out. It's probably on the ground there somewhere. This bolt is not doing anything anymore, and we can literally wiggle it here. Now, had they properly bolted it here at the railing level, it would offer some more security, but right now we got a life safety issue on this building because the whole staircase is wiggling. And this is the only thing holding the back side of this stair and this the full side of the fire escape system. So now going back down, let's go slowly. The same thing applies to this whole entire platform here. They've got a shelf angle here that from underneath you're going to be able to show that it's rusting from underneath, and it needs to go back bolted, not welded. The other side is the same thing. It needs to go back bolted, not welded, because water and dirt get in there, and then it tears the shelf angle clip away. All these corners are major structural rebolting. These corners need to be tied back into the building, and again rebolted, so we don't have to verify any of the welds. So this is a good candidate to show you just how bad, you know, the weld situation is. If not properly sealed, between x-rays and load testing, these things have a problem passing every 5 years. Okay, so all of this needs to be married together so they get some rigidity here. I need a clip here, because right now that's all I got for a weld. And the only way I can verify this weld holding the bottom of the stringer is to x-ray or load test that weld. But as soon as I put an angle clip in here, I clip that to that, I'm golden. I don't need it anymore. Okay? Same thing applies to the other side. Got it? So let's be careful as we shake this fire escape. The same thing I said up there, we need an angle clip here to not have to verify these welds. So these stringers need clips. The posts going down are welded to this, so every one of these needs gussets, plus the post going down needs to be married to this with the bolts. From down here, you can get a much better shot of all the rust that's coming down, all the tears of all the snapped welds. On every single one of these, you can see where rust has grown and welds have snapped. That's why most fire escapes are not welded, they're bolted fire escapes. Going down on this fire escape here, you can see all the rust inside every single one of these connections. Every single thread's got to come out, cleaned, primed, sealed with silicone, and then it's got to be rebolted back, not welded back. To avoid the load test or the x-ray, every single one of these needs to be rebolted. This tube, as you can see, it's a little long, and I would recommend that we do a tie back at the midpoint back to the building just to stiffen up this length. It's kind of longer than it should be. If we come down here, you notice that the legs into the cement, these clips need to be cleaned, reinforced, and then all this accumulation of dirt, if we tar the feet and silicone shut the feet, it'll stop rotting the feet. So once this is all cleaned, we need to silicone shut it, and we also need to tar it where it doesn't interfere with the people walking in and out. But we need to get this all cemented. If possible, try to paint this cement with a cement paint to stop the water from getting into the cement and transferring itself to the steel. Look over here. You get some great shots right now. I want you to get as close as you can to where all the huge rust. So put your face right in here and get as close as you can to just saw how much of this rust. And this is a good one here when you're looking straight up at it.